In the up-and-coming, absolutely hilarious R-rated comedy, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, Adam Devine and Zac Efron star as hard-partying brothers who place an online ad to find the perfect dates for their sister's wedding in Hawaii. Hoping for a wild getaway, the boys instead find themselves outsmarted and outpartied by the uncontrollable duo played by Anna Kendrick and Aubrey Plaza. And Fox is letting you see it early for free. Just go to gofobo.com/MikeDavePodcast1 to grab passes to a screening near you. I'm going to repeat that line. Just go to gofobo.com/MikeDavePodcast1 to grab passes to a screening near you. The hijinks that ensue have to be seen to be believed. It has a great supporting cast as well, with Sam Richardson from Veep and Stephen Root. Based on a true story, this movie will have you laughing all the way to the end. It's in theaters July 8th, but again, you can see it early and for free. Get passes to an advanced screening at gofobo.com/MikeDavePodcast1. That's gofobo.com/MikeDavePodcast1. gofobo.com/MikeDavePodcast1.
The following program is a podcast1.com production.
He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're gonna take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. I am sitting here in my office at 316 Gimmick Street. It is hotter than hell because I have every single window in my house closed because as I speak, it's Wednesday. And my yard guys just came in here and discombobulated everything. My train of thought, my flow, and interrupted my microphone with too much mowing and too much blowing. And since that has ceased, I have vowed to my wife that after 7 years of living here in this house, it's time for a remodel. It's time to refresh 316 Gimmick Street. New paint on the walls and new windows. Double, triple pane, noise-proof, whatever it takes. So when I shut these windows, I can't hear a damn thing. These damn thin-ass glasses, I might as well leave them open, leave the screens open, and you can hear everything out there. I'm hotter than hell right now because normally we got that cool breeze coming off the water, and it cools this office down. But since they're out there working, my attention to detail on the quality of this show is so specific, I'm shut in here and I'm sweating my ass off. Maybe I'll actually lose a couple of pounds breaking down a question that was sent to me. I'm always asking you folks, if you've got a question, comment, or suggestion, send it to questions@steveaustinshow.com. I got a truckload of emails from you people talking about a particular professional wrestling match, asking me my opinion of this match. So I'm going to read you the email, and we'll go over this match, and then we'll get on to the body of the show. The body of the show today, on the front half, is me shooting the breeze with Ted Fowler 361, the working man down there in South Texas. And then the second half of the podcast is me talking with my wife here at 316 Gimmick Street, going over some shenanigans and stuff that been happening here at the house. I actually recorded the second half of this podcast last week, but got so involved talking to Wade Keller, had to scrap that part of the podcast, played Wade Keller, so that's what's going to be today. But let me answer this question first. Let's get into business. I got a lot of pro wrestling fans that tune into this show. It's the world that I come from. It's a world that I'm glad to still be involved in and offer some opinion. And I had a great time during my ride as Stunning Steve Austin and Superstar Steve Austin and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and now I just operate as Steve Austin. But that being said, my qualifications are some 14 years in the business in the squared circle. You know, I got out of the business back in 2003, but I've been watching ever since then. So let's get into this question, and let's get into this match that everybody's asking about. This This email starts off as, Dear Mr. Austin, I wanted to get your opinion on a particular match that has caused quite a stir in the pro wrestling world recently. The match in question is between a British wrestler, Will Ospreay, versus Ricochet, who you may know better as Prince Puma from Lucha Underground during this year's New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors tournament. It has been both praised and criticized alike for the use of aerial maneuvers and flips that are used in this match. Some consider a match like this to be killing the wrestling business, so I wanted to know your take. I've included a link to the full match below so you can watch it, as New Japan Pro Wrestling decided to make the match free for everyone to watch because of the notoriety it has received. All right, regardless, I hope you enjoy the match because I certainly did, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to look at this. Keep being a badass, and best of luck to you on all your pursuits. Sincerely, Adnan Kurishi. Adnan, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Okay, folks, let's get to this illustrious match, and let's talk about it. I'm on YouTube, and I just typed in Ricochet versus Will Ospreay. It's going to be the match I recommend that you watch at the end of the show, so I'm giving it to you right now. Okay, let's look at this match. Ricochet, who also works as Prince Puma for Lucha Underground, and Will Ospreay, who is from England. I'll tell you what, I watched this match 2 or 3 times back to back, and quite frankly, it was like nothing I've ever seen before. Right now on YouTube, it's got almost 120,000 views, so there's a lot of people watching this match. The athleticism, incredible. The timing, the precision, unbelievable, off the charts, a 10 out of 10. How these guys pulled off some of the stuff that they did is beyond me. For something to kind of compare it to, I got on YouTube and I pulled up Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, going all the way back to 7/23/1982. Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask. That's another one for you to watch. I'll give it to you right now since I'm talking about it. So just to have something to compare it to, I've never seen 2 guys so athletic at the same time in a squared circle. And the way they executed this, the timing, it was just off the charts. I thoroughly enjoyed it. That being said, some of the stuff, there's a couple of DDTs in here that are just spot on. Not enough selling on that end. Some of the offense, as far as some of the forms, could have been delivered with a little bit more intent to hurt, laid in a little bit better. Some of that lucha stuff, when you drive by each other and just kind of get off the ropes, sometimes is not my thing. But just as an athletic endeavor, a spectacle, it was just absolutely fantastic. I give both guys a big thumbs up for their performance. And it was almost like this match might have been a little bit kind of performance art, more so than wrestling, so to speak. But again, some of the moves, Prince Puma, Ricochet just hit off the ropes. The Kid hit him with a wheel kick in midair. Again, the timing, the precision, the athletic ability, how they pulled this off, I have no idea. But when I compare this to Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, it's like no one can deny just the intent or the intensity of Dynamite Kid. It was just off the charts. The guy was a real badass. And latest stuff in it just looks so vicious. And Tiger Mask, of course, was unbelievable. So I just thought the match was tremendous. People ask me, like I said, because I got several emails about this, what I think about the match. Phenomenal. It's a spectacle. For me, though, my favorite pro wrestling style probably goes back, it does. It goes back to the mid-1980s. I liked what was going on in the ring in the NWA, World Class Championship Wrestling, Mid-South Power Pro Wrestling. Right there in the mid-1980s, that work style is what I grew up on, what I fell in love with. And when I go through the height of my career in the Attitude Era, we were still kind of in that same vein of work, but the business was in a different place back then. It wasn't exposed. It was still highly protected, going back to the mid-80s. Obviously, it was exposed when I was in the ring, and we changed it to sports entertainment. And the business just keeps evolving. When you see a match like this, I don't think you can see a whole entire card of action like this. First and foremost, because I don't think there's too many other human beings on the planet that could have executed this match. I think Ricochet and Will Ospreay are two of the most talented athletic guys in the squared circle in the world right now. If I had a wrestling promotion and I was looking to hire two individuals, these are two individuals that I would hire. Now, I might modify or tell them to sell a little bit more. When you look at this match, which runs, from start to finish about 22 minutes, but that's with introductions. If these guys would have put in maybe 4 to 5 minutes worth of selling, mixed in with all the badass stuff that they did, then it could have been off the charts epic. But again, that's me nitpicking it. And if you want me to say thumbs up, thumbs down, I got to say thumbs up. Hellacious effort by both guys. To Will Ospreay, sometimes the facials are a little over the top, and that's just me critiquing the guy, just being very critical. You got to look at this guy. Will Ospreay's, he's 23 years old. Kid's been working 3 or 4 years. And when you look on Wikipedia, he's been a fan of light heavyweight wrestling since his youth. He was a big fan of Essa Rios, the late, great Eddie Guerrero, and he cites the three-way match between AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, and Samoa Joe at TNA Unbreakable 2005 as the match that made him want to become a wrestler. And he received his training at the London School of Lucha Libre and made his professional debut soon thereafter. Well, man, I didn't know they had a School of Lucha Libre in London. But nonetheless, the kid is a phenomenal athlete. He knows his trade well. He's real young in the business. He's really, really good. And again, if I had a promotion, I would hire him, and I would hire Ricochet, Prince Puma, whatever you want to call him. The match is off the charts. Again, those heavyweights, you got big Stan Hansen out there, Bruiser Brody, or the mid-80s stuff, like I said, I grew up on. That's what I favor. But I can't shit on this match at all. I got to say, badass, unbelievable, and I recommend that everybody out there watch it. And file your report. Send it to questions@steveaustonshow.com. Shout out to both guys. Props. Throw a little bit of selling in there. For what it was amazing, and I'll leave it at that. Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask, 7/23/82. Watch that match just because, man, Dynamite Kid was one of a kind. His intensity is off the charts. I thought this was more of a wrestling match than the Ricochet Will Ospreay match was. But again, the stuff that those two kids did was absolutely phenomenal. And I wish both the guys a long career and be safe. Working like that, I don't know how long you can do that kind of stuff. It looks highly dangerous. Obviously, a cat and trapped in my kind of body would never try that kind of style. And it's interesting. I'll say this, and then I'll move on down the road. When I used to go to Japan, my first time down there, it was a 3-week tour. And we'd have to follow guys because we'd be later on the card. And Dean Malenko was on the card. Eddie Guerrero was on the card. Chris Benoit was on the card, and those guys would go out there, and you know how all the three guys that I just listed worked, and you'd have to follow one of their matches. And we all know how great each one of the guys I just named was. And how you follow a match like that is just do what you do. If you're a kicker, a puncher, a brawler, then that's what you do. You never try to mimic the guys that went in front of you because they just blew the doors off the crowd, probably stole the show, because you can't follow it by doing their stuff. The secret to following a match like that in Japan or anywhere is doing your stuff, doing it as best you can, and sticking to what brought you to the dance in the first place. No one would expect Stan Hansen or Stone Cold Steve Austin to do these kind of flips. They expect violence. They expect fire, badass action, and ass whoopings. These kids delivered chills, thrills, spills, and excitement. 2 different cups of tea, but both work. If you love this match, more power to you. If you hate this match, more power to you. It's like I always say, Professional wrestling is purely subjective. So whatever I like and you hate, or vice versa, as long as you have an opinion, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. Again, shout out, props to both guys. But again, for me, that mid-80s style, that's my bread and butter. Hey, let's move on, folks. Before we get into the body of this podcast and talk to my illustrious wife, my buddy Teddy, going on here, I want to give a shout out to the folks at On It. They make Alpha Brain. And y'all know I don't podcast without Alpha Brain. When this award-winning podcast that ain't never won no awards finally does get an award, I'm going to thank Alpha Brain first. Alpha Brain keeps me razor sharp and helps my mental clarity and memory. And if you could use a little brain boost yourself, go to onit.com/Steve to get some Alpha Brain and save yourself 10% in the process. You can save 10% off anything you order at onit.com/Steve. So yes, you can get 10% off Shroom Tech Sport. Shroom Tech Sport will give your workout a boost. It helps you go longer and recover faster. And yes, you can get 10% off T+. T+ increases strength and power. It will improve your athletic performance and is safe to use if you're competing. So go take advantage of this 10% discount off your order. Just go to onit.com/Steve. And another great thing about On It and all their products is if they don't work the way they're supposed to, you can get all your money back, no questions asked. Money back guarantee. So go to onit.com/Steve to get your 10% discount off all supplements. That's ONNIT.com/Steve to get 10% off your order.
Steve Austin, Unleashed.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been joined in progress. I'm talking to Ted Fowler, 361 down in Rockport, Texas. I'm showing a picture to Teddy of this vehicle that's parked in front of my house. It's the Mercury version of a Crown Victoria. It's kind of pewter, and the left rear tire is so shredded. It's riding on a goddamn rim. That back left tire could not be in any worse shape than it is. It's all beat up. Teddy, in that back window, there's so much shit crammed in there. This person is living in a car, quite frankly. And the thing about it is, we were walking down the alley the other day, and we were walking by some offices, and this same car was parked underneath it's like an apartment structure. So anyway, basically, they're back there they were kayfabing for a couple of days' rest before they got kicked out by the people who are the tenants of the apartment. And now, I don't know how, because where they drove this vehicle away from underneath the awning is about 500 yards to my house. And how they're getting by on that fucking wheel, I have absolutely no idea. But it is the biggest piece of shit. And, here's the thing. There's a lot of homeless people in L.A., so I'm not making fun of homeless people. I'm just saying, man, my yard guy was just out there cutting the yard, and I'm not going to go on a rant about my yard guys coming on Wednesday. I need to start doing my podcast on Tuesday. But anyway, my yard guy was coming in and out of the security gate out there, and he said, man, I didn't want the guy to come over because I think the guy is a little bit off his rocker. So, God damn it, Teddy, between all the bullshit, the sirens, and the helicopters, I might have to move down to the Broken Skull Ranch permanently. I don't know how much more of this shit I can take. Dude, I love the weather out here. I was sweating bullets a while ago. You heard me talk about it in the open of the podcast. I'm sweating bullets a while ago because I had all the windows closed up. And here's the thing. I was telling Kristin, we've been living here 7 years, and you've been over here. This house was built in 1962, and the people added on something to it. And my 3 doors here aren't squared up. They didn't do a real square job on the remodel. But, dude, you've seen the trim is kind of fucked up. Could use a fresh coat of paint. And, man, I'm all about the windows because you do a lot of windows down in Rockport, Texas. Dude, correct. I guess there's a single pane. I don't know what the fuck they are, but, I mean, they ain't soundproof at all. What is the difference between 2 and 3 pane windows or soundproof? What's the story? Hear the helicopter going overboard?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, dude, your best bet would be to get an impact-resistant window, or a hurricane window. It's got the type of glass that, in theory can withstand about 130 or 140 mile-an-hour impact of an object against it and not shatter it. Super heavy, about twice the price of regular windows. That's about the best sound deadening thing you could make there.
Dude, I don't get, if you was to come over and install them, and I already know your price is higher than giraffe pussy, along with the high price of the damn windows, and you could put 24 karat gold plating on these things if I want to really trick this crib out, I don't care what they cost. I got to have some protection from some of this noise, because, Teddy, there is no way this podcast is ever going to win a goddamn thing with all the noise coming in this microphone.
You know what, dude? I'm laughing because if you looked at the setup I've got right now, it's just like the last time. I got a couple of beach towels up over the windows, held up with push pins, trying to drown out the noise of the Coast Guard search and rescue planes that are doing touch and goes at this little podunk airport right here. And I just happen to be in the flight path.
Dude, the beach towels must be working because I don't hear a damn thing over there. Yeah, fucking genius.
Oh, dude, I got my headphones on and I can hear them. So that's the award-winning podcast right there, baby.
Dude, here's the thing, because you're talking about where they flying the little Cessnas.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. The crop duster type plane. It's funny because when Kristin was living over at her house, and it's kind of underneath the Santa Monica airport, you get those little private jets, and those things would take off, and they don't shower down on the throttle because they're under restrictions, so they don't really bother you. But it's those little Cessnas, those 1- and 2-seaters, when they take off, and those things, they're about 100 horsepower, give or take, some a little bit more or whatever. But I think they're running a straight header, or maybe no exhaust whatsoever because they're louder than shit. And so I'm always wondering, it's like if they're so goddamn loud to listen to on the ground, and you can't even have a conversation in Kristin's backyard over there on a cell phone because you can't hear yourself or you can't hear the person you're talking to. How miserable enough to ask this question on the podcast before. I wish someone who flies a Cessna, one of those loud sumbitches, would send me an email to questions@steveaustinshow.com and tell me how loud it is to fly one of those bastards. Because if I'm on the ground and I can't stand to hear those fuckers take off, it's got to be god-awful miserable to be the pilot in the summits flying it.
Oh, dude, you're sitting right behind the engine to boot. So, yeah, it's just got to hammer your ears. I guess that's why they're all wearing, those noise-canceling headphones.
Dude, I don't know. I got to see. Kristin got me a Groupon of all things, people like a coupon or whatever. But you can buy those Groupons to do these things. And back in the day, I wanted to learn how to fly. So I still want to learn to fly. I just ain't sure to go about doing it. So she got me like a test flight to get in the back of one of those planes with one of those pilots. I think it cost like $250 or something like that. But man, when I see all these some of those planes up there just look like a bucket of bolts. And I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I'm a global icon and a national treasure. All of a sudden, for $250, my wife gets a Groupon, and for somehow the engine craps out and, in a crash in the middle of Los Angeles. And like, hey, man, what happened to Steve Austin? Oh, fuck, his wife brought him a Groupon and be a passenger because he thought he wanted to learn how to fly an airplane, and they crashed. So I took her up on it. So here's the thing about loud exhaust. I remember way back in the day when we would do televisions, Monday Night Raw tapings for Monday Night Raw, and this is going back to, probably the mid-90s, 96, 7, and when Undertaker was driving all those badass choppers to the ring. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, dude, man, I'd always get the TV early, and things were a little bit more simple now. I mean, it was always a live television show. The stakes were always high. We were busting our ass to put out a damn good product. These days, there's even more 18-wheelers. There's more production. They're filming more things. So it was a little more simple back then. And I would get there, and back when Taker was riding those bikes, they had one or two guys that would drive those bikes around in trailers and do the maintenance on them. And since I had Taker's blessing to ride the bikes, I'd get out there and, run through the gears in the parking lot, rev them, make loud noises. There's all straight pipes for television, and that's the way Taker rode anyway. Some of the bikes were actually his. And, when you're on the bike and you're revving it up and you hear all that horsepower and the loud throttle, it's fun as fuck. You like listening to the loud noise. But if you're sitting on a corner in a restaurant trying to have dinner with a couple of friends, or you're in your house watching TV or trying to have a phone call, God forbid, record an award-winning podcast, and a couple of those sumbitches blare by, then it sucks ass. But when you're riding the chopper with the loud pipes, it's fun.
Dude, I think we're just getting old, man. Just getting old.
God damn it. Speaking of getting old, I was online the other night, and I was doing some research on something, a guest I got coming up, and I was a hearing aid thing popped up. So I said, man, let me go ahead and fill out that brochure, that online brochure, and see about getting a hearing aid. So I filled out the form, and I'd be goddamn if I didn't get a telephone call today. A lady wanted to schedule me for a hearing test. So, hell, I'm going to go in and get my damn ears checked, Teddy. You've been out the ranch with me for about 7 or 8 years now. Has my hearing loss affected you at all?
No, it hasn't affected me. I mean, I just I know how you are. I know, when to talk and how loud to talk.
Well, the thing is, I normally hear you because you ask if we're going to drink margaritas or drink a Broken Skull IPA. Or what deer stand are you sitting at when Kristin's asking me to go pick up the dog shit or to do the dishes or fold the clothes? Sometimes I don't hear that frequency.
It's that high-pitched female tone that eludes you.
God damn it, man. Hey, man, speaking of getting old, though, let me shift gears, though, because let's talk about some people that aren't getting old. And it's some of these damn idiots that are taking selfies during dangerous situations. I was reading an article, and it would happen to many people. There was a guy, he was 21 years old. There was a female, I think she was young as well. And these people are taking selfies doing dangerous things. And one in particular, they were taking pictures with a gun to their head. Now, here's the thing, Teddy. You and I have been hunting and enjoying the outdoors and guns and target shooting for basically our whole lives. And for us, safety is first and foremost. The rules are you never point a gun at another human being. You never point a gun at yourself. You treat every gun, whether it's a rifle or a pistol, as if it is loaded. And so I don't understand what the inspiration is behind someone, male, female, young, old, to take a selfie with a gun to your head. Because first of all, if you were to do this, if you're dumb enough to do it, then you would clear the weapon and make sure that there's not a bullet in the barrel so that you might kill yourself. But say you pull off the selfie successfully, you post it, you've got a gun to your head. I mean, that's just like, to me, that's a selfie that says, hey, I'm stupid as fuck. I'm taking a selfie with a gun to my head. Because, Teddy, explain to me where I'm missing the boat. Because it's not cool, it's not fun, it's not smart. So why in the fuck would you take a selfie with a gun to your head? Am I missing something? Am I getting too old? Should I just go put my fucking hearing aids in and shut up?
No, dude, I don't think you're missing anything at all. I think it's a different generation, man. The kids now don't respect firearms the way that that we do. They weren't brought up with them like we were. They don't understand, just how dangerous and how stupid it is to be doing something like that. Get
but it's common sense, Teddy. How much common sense is being lost these days? Because
dude,
I know there's the big war on the guns these days. But man, I've been growing up my whole life. But even if I had not grown up my whole life hunting, my parents brought me up with enough knowledge and respect or whatever to know that a goddamn gun is dangerous and you never point it at anybody. I mean, that's just common sense. Somehow along the way, something's been lost in translation, and just common sense of any fashion is just totally fucked up. I don't get it, dude. Am I being? I don't know what the fuck's going on.
All right, dude. Here's a question for you. Back when you were a kid and video games were around, what was a popular video game that you remember playing?
Galaga.
It's space, futuristic stuff like that. You had Pac-Man, you had asteroids, stuff like that. Now, what are the most popular, most common video games? Grand Theft Auto, where stealing the car is cool. Call to Ops, where these kids are out, thinking that they're army guys shooting, and that's cool. Man, you have a conversation with some, real deal veterans that were in a war and ask them how cool it was. You know what I mean? The modern culture is just sensationalizing crime and all of the stupid shit that goes with it. That's, I think.
I mean, if anything, it's desensitizing people to the real ramifications or the fact that, that this is something that is a life or death matter. That this is one mistake and it's all over.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I enjoy shoot 'em ups. I enjoy action movies, but to the point of these days, it's just so cliche. It ain't even, I don't even dig it anymore. It's like what I've been enjoying lately, and you have too, is a fucking series on Netflix called Bloodline. There hasn't been almost no gunplay in the whole damn two seasons that I've watched, and I haven't missed a damn thing. It's just great writing, great execution by the actors, stories that are just so. This family's just got so many secrets. I've been telling people to watch this damn show, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers. But it's number one on the call sheet is Kyle Chandler, who's phenomenal. Number two is Ben Mendelsohn, who's the antagonist, and is Danny, and he's unbelievable. Sissy Spacek, if you go way back to the days of Carrie and her long career, and now all of a sudden she finds herself right in the middle in a prime spot, and it's so cool to see her back. And the whole cast is phenomenally talented, and the writing is premier. It's kind of like along the lines of I forget the two guys or three guys who created this show, but I mean it's almost like Vince Gilligan for creating Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. The writing is premier in this damn show, but my point is there's no violence, and it's refreshing because I mean there's some violence, but there's not people getting smoked by guns every single scene. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, man. Dude, that's enough about me ranting and raving. What the fuck's going on over in Rockport, Texas? You guys are getting your ass rained on like crazy.
Oh, did it rain like hell last night? I just got a text that it's raining like hell up in Houston. It's supposed to hammer us again tonight and throughout the rest of the weekend. Yeah, a lot of water down here, that's for sure.
Hey, man, with the drought, have you been down to the ranch lately? Because I was looking on the cameras and I didn't see that we got really any rain.
Man, I haven't been in a couple of weeks, and I've got probably 7 or 8 more days on this job before I can pull out and go back up there. So, hopefully, I don't think there's been a tremendous amount of water up there. Hopefully everything's still good. Oh. I know the grass will need to be cut.
Dude, I don't mean to change the subject, but I was going back to the text message you sent me. You sent me a picture of a barbecue pit that looked like it was burned to death. What the fuck was that all about? Because I never responded to the text. What the fuck's up with the barbecue pit? Were you cooking?
No, it wasn't me. I went over to Weasel's house, my fishing buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he called me up and he said, hey, he and his wife, Kathy, just super, super nice people. I mean, they took me under their wing like you and Kristin did. I'm kind of that little rogue neighborhood dog that's got no place to go. So they called me up and said, hey, man, we're cooking some fish. We want you to come over. I said, sure. So I get there, and it's Monday night. We're watching Raw. Mike is outside. Kathy and I are inside watching wrestling. Mike has a badass barbecue grill. It's got, obviously, the 4 burners in the middle, a burner on either side, and one of them he's got a iron skillet in that he's blackening some trout. The other one has a like a grease fryer, a pot with a basket for doing, okay. So he loads that up with, onion rings and hush puppies and, breaded fish, and we got grilled fish, and we got we're having a king's buffet. Kathy and I are sitting inside the house and, drinking, watching wrestling. Mike comes in and puts all the stuff down on the table, and luckily we were downstairs eating. We didn't carry it upstairs into the house proper to eat. We're there about 10 minutes eating, and I look out the door, and it's kind of dusky, getting dark, and I go, Mike, you burning something out there? I see flames. And this guy's in his mid to late 60s. He leans back and looks out the window, and he's, God damn, yeah, and he opens the door. Man, that barbecue grill is under the patio, wooden patio, right? And it is flamed up so much, it's almost whistling. That's how aggressive the flame is. Man, his wife goes to squalling, and we're like, holy cow, what are we going to do? So Mike goes to get the fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher's in the boat. He just put the boat in the boat barn down the street. We got no fire extinguisher. So he throws the cover off of the hot tub, grabs a beach towel, wets it down, throws it on top of that barbecue, which is basically a grease fire. So you know that's not a good move either.
Water on a grease fire, no can do.
Well, dude, we didn't have enough baking soda in all of Rockport to put that son of a bitch out.
What happened?
So Mike is just standing there right next to the barbecue, like, frozen, just looking at it. And I'm going, dude, there's a big-ass propane tank under there. Get away from it. I run out to the barn. I come back with a shovel, and I tell him, I said, kick that thing over so I can start throwing dirt on it. And he does. And as soon as that grease hits the ground, man, it splatters and goes everywhere. And I'm shoveling as fast as I can. I dig about a 3-foot hole in record time. Finally put that son of a bitch out. And Mike, he's still just standing there looking at it. Kathy's freaking out. And Mike goes, well, let's go back in before the fish gets cold. Yeah, but dude, I mean, we had no fire extinguisher anywhere. It could have gotten ugly. That's for sure.
Dude, here's the thing. Down at the ranch, as many times as when we barbecue almost every single night out there when we're during hunting season, it's grilling something or barbecue deer sausage. And that damn grill I got flames up like a bastard every single time. I don't know what's wrong with it. I need to replace the guts inside of it. The letting out too much gas. But I don't have a fire extinguisher nowhere near there, and I keep that thing. You know where I barbecue at? It probably wasn't the same as low a setting as Mike had, but dude, you got to put that on my list of things to do down at the ranch. Is put a fire extinguisher out there by the fucking grill, and I'm gonna get one out here for my barbecue pit in Marina Del Rey, and I'm gonna put one out there, and then when you open a little cabinet where you put your propane tank.
Yeah.
I'm going to stash one in there, and just so I got one. So if you take anything away from this part of the podcast, hey, man, keep your fire extinguisher handy. When you're out there messing with grease or just any kind of fire, anything is possible. So get your ass a fire extinguisher. You're going to thank me for reminding you. It's like back in the day when I said everybody needs a pocket knife. You do. You need a spare key. You need some jumper cables. You need a 4-way screwdriver. All that same shit. So get your ass a fire extinguisher. Fuck, fire is too damn dangerous.
Dude, you were talking about those spare keys, and I'm like, oh, I ain't getting no spare keys. Shit, I live out in the country. I really don't lock my house. Well, when the last situation developed and I felt the need to change locks, I would. I figured,
pair of pink panties on the way.
I figured, what the hell, man? Let's follow Steve's advice. Go ahead and get one of them Heidi keys. And I found one that looks like a little teeny rock, and I threw it in, my little flower pots outside of the back porch. Well, sleeping with them 3 dogs in the house, about 4:30 in the morning, somebody's got to get up and take a leak, and it ain't me. And then they toss and they turn and they're on the bed, off the bed. Well, hell, I'm tired, so I'm going to take them outside, put them in their pen, and come back in and lay down. Well, dude, I swear to God, man, I'm stark-ass naked, dark as hell. I walk outside, and the door handle on my back door is a little tricky, and the son of a bitch locks. I go and I let the dogs in the kennel. I turn back around, and I go and hit that handle on the back door, and it's locked. And I'm like, shit. Luckily, that spare key is right there. It's like, whoo.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a lifesaver.
The next card you get from me will be a thank you card.
Hey, I'm glad you brought that. And speaking of hide keys, man, every time I go down the ranch, man, I never know. Sometimes I'm flying in, sometimes I'm driving the RV in. And so I don't ever know what set of keys to have because, if I'm not going to bring one of my vehicles in L.A., it's kind of stupid to bring the key. I don't have a dedicated ranch key. Well, I do. I just don't know where they're at. That's a whole different problem. So.
We'll address that after the hearing loss.
Yeah. You know my stash places there at the ranch. I got about 4 keys hidden on that ranch where, no matter what happens, it's like, when you go to pet your pockets to look for something?
Yep.
When I start scratching around looking for those keys, if 1 or 2 of them doesn't turn up, I've got plan C and D because I ain't going to get locked out of ranch because when you go down there, you're 15 miles from Tilden, you're 55 miles away from a locksmith in Pleasanton, you're basically fucked. So I take that key story to heart.
Well, I love the picture you sent me. You sent me a text message, hey, where's the key to the gas tank? And I was like, dude, I've got extras. It's in my safe. You know, it's all those gold keys. There's a bunch of gold keys in the pavilion safe. And then you send back another picture with a big lock cutter and the lock cut in half. Found it.
Dude, I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I did. What I lose? My truck keys to my white and silver?
To the white. One? Yes, sir, to the white truck.
Dude, I have scoured over every hiding spot I can think of over there that we placed the keys in, or I placed the keys in, and I don't know what the hell I did with them. Luckily, I had some spares made here in Los Angeles last time I went down there. I got a key to get in my truck now. I just don't have the remote controls to get in there. But let's shift gears for a second. I want to ask you what I did to piss you off.
How so?
Dude, what's with the rib you pulled on me at the fucking card?
Oh, dude,
here's the thing. I talked about this on a couple of podcasts ago, because as long as I've known you for 8 years, you never really ribbed me, and I don't really rib you. So then all of a sudden I get a card in the mail from Ted, and Ted signed it. He put one of my neighbor's name on there, and it says, God loves you and I love you too. And I was like, man, that sounds kind of weird, because I know that dude, but I wouldn't say it to him and he wouldn't say it to me. And then you had called Kristin and give her the heads up. What in the fuck was all that? 'Cause, dude, you had to see the look on my face when I read that, because, man, I went into CSI, FBI, CIA mode ASAP. I was like, and throw in the DEA, the USDA, and the Elemento P2. I was trying to figure out what in the flying fuck was going on. What sparked you to go get a goddamn get well soon card and send it to my ass?
Dude, I thought, coming from who I addressed it from, you would not think that it was me pulling a rib. You know what I mean? I figured that you would look at that thing and go, you know, man, are you serious? You know, because that cat's a little out there anyway. You know, and I mean, in a good way.
Yeah.
No, dude, it was just something to do. It's me paying you back from that first rib when you first got the ranch. You probably don't remember that one.
Oh, the one with the deer?
Yeah.
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 Oh, dude, that was 8 years ago. Surely, you didn't wait 8 years to return the rib. Well, first of all, I did wait 8 years. Second of all, don't call me Shirley.
Dude, high prices and good memory. Oh, dude, I have no idea, man. I was just driving around one day, and it just popped in my head, and I thought, man, this is either going to be, you know, a hit or a complete turd, and it worked out pretty good.
Dude, it blew my doors off. I was so rattled, and I almost had to go get counseling. So I'm going to get your ass. You know, speaking of fires, you and I burned a few fires down there at the Broken Skull Ranch. So maybe, you know, what happens when we burn trash down there at the ranch? And for all you city slickers out there, when we burn stuff, we use what's called a burn pit. And if you're from the country, everybody knows what a burn pit is. Basically, you get either, you know, a bulldozer or a backhoe, and you dig a big-ass hole. And you put your trash in there and you burn it. Now, all of our trash that we make, you know, put in hefty trash bags, we take to the junkyard. But plywood, just old supplies, stuff like that, wooden stuff that you can burn. We don't burn trash out there. But it's just the stuff that we don't need. So once that burn pile gets filled up, you don't light a fire every time you need to burn something, because sometimes, like we've been in a drought for over 7 years, you don't want to start a burn pit fire when there's a burn ban on, because everything's so damn dry, because that fire is going to spread. You're going to light your own ranch on fire, your neighbor's ranch is on fire, and everybody's going to be pissed off at you, and you may die in the process. So we wait until it rains, a good hard rain, when it starts drying up, just a frog's hair, so you can light that flame and it ain't going to spread. So to do that, Teddy and I get out there with these 5-gallon buckets and pre-soak that pit with a lot of diesel and gasoline. And I don't know how many times, you know, when you're trying to get that fire started, and never, ever try this, going back to the fire. Don't ever throw gas on a fire when the fire is burning. Ted has been out there and witnessed firsthand my stupid ass trying to get that fire going again by dousing some gas on it. And I tell you what, mister, when you're out there wearing snake boots, camouflage shorts, and you're out there with a 5-gallon gas can in your hand and that fire catches and you're running like, for your life because that fire's chasing you, and it, as you say, Teddy, it sucks all the air out of the damn near off the pasture. Next time we do a burn pit, I'm going to let you work the gas can.
We've been wanting to bow hunt out there. We may shoot a flaming arrow into it from a safe distance. Yeah, dude, we've done some ill-advised shit. That's for sure.
Teddy, now that you sent me the card and I know that you care for me, when you saw me. When you saw me running from these intense flames, why wouldn't you just come over and just say, Steve, I ain't trying to tell you your business, but as a friend and a fellow human being, I think it's kind of stupid for you to throw that gas on that fire because you might kill yourself. Why the fuck didn't you ever tell me that, Teddy?
Dude, it would have taken me too long to get to you because remember, I was at a safe distance. I was way back.
And one time, I think it was about 3 years ago, I actually pulled a hamstring running from a fire. Dude, I haven't run a step since I stopped playing college football, other than being in a squared circle. Now, and the thing about running the ropes is you're taking 3 steps to cross the ring, and then you hit the ropes, and it ricochets you back. So I didn't really call that running. You're running, but it's in a ring, and the ropes are throwing you back and forth. So it's easy. When you got a 5-gallon gas can, and don't get me wrong, I ditched the gas can, and I'm running probably about a 6.9 40. That's slow as fuck. If you know anything about 40-yard dashes, I could have been killed. Teddy, this year, if we burn the fucking fire pit,
I will advise you to stay at a safe distance.
Thank you very much. Teddy, is there anything else on your mind you want to talk up before we wrap up this first part of the podcast?
No, nothing I want to plug, man. How's your arm doing? Have you started to rehab with that?
Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. I actually talk about it in the second part of the podcast, but that was in the formative stages, so I'll give you the 411 now, man. I go to range of motion therapy. My therapist will grab my arm and kind of start swinging it like a gate and then start making longer motions as, it gets warmed up. And then she'll kind of put it like in an arm bar for all basic explanatory purposes and start pulling it back. And right where, they sewed up that infraspinatus and that supraspinatus and that tear in the labrum, man, it's real interesting because they're really, really good at the place that I go to, the PT people there. And as I can feel that stitch work getting tight in the back, they can feel it just because that's what they're trained to do. And so each time I go there, they just kind of, it goes back a little bit further. So it's coming along real good. I started training with the left side of my body. I haven't done any leg workouts yet. I'm just walking on a treadmill for cardio. So the bad thing is I got a little bit of muscle back in my left arm because I started using it again, but the right arm is still pretty shitty looking. And overall, dude, when you're working out with just one arm and you can do leg extensions and leg curls and that kind of stuff, it just fucks your body up. So I'm doing good. The recovery's going good. I know I had a badass surgeon. He did a real good repair job. So I'm just kind of stove up. But what I'm trying to do is I got to stop on the beer drinking, which I have. I drink about 4 ounces of red wine a night, and that's helping out. I drop my carbs down. So all the pieces are in place. I'm working on a comeback here, man. I got the Survivor song, Eye of the Tiger from Rocky movies. That's my soundtrack that plays in my head when I go to the gym now. But it's hard to get really motivated because, like when we were training heavy down at the ranch, you heavy bench, heavy military, heavy bent over rows, heavy deadlift. And, that's your whole body using, both arms, all your limbs. So that's the only difficulty factor. But, dude, I'm doing good. So no complaints on my end. I appreciate you asking.
Yeah, dude, working out with one arm is like, doing a half-ass workout. It's like, man, why even, you can't go at it halfway. No,
you don't get you don't get the whole stimulation. I mean, you're working on like one little segment of. And dude, if you could do anything, heavy squats, deadlifts, those compound movements is kind of what stokes your metabolism. So, dude, it is what it is.
Right.
I could go on a rant right now, but I won't. I'll leave it at that. Teddy, I'm going to take a little pause for the cause here. A word from the sponsors to keep the show on the air for free. We were talking about bow hunting. I might get a crossbow this year because I don't know if I'll be able to pull back a bow, but, man, hunting season's right around the corner, man. It's about 5 months away. Before we ride off in the sunset, have you found any sheds yet?
There's been a few out there at the ranch. Most of them are gone now that the grass is overgrown. You know, you really can't see them. I'll tell you the cool thing, though, is
I found 2 monster sheds. Have you found better sheds than the ones I found?
No, dude, you got me. You got me. I mean, I think I found more, but quality-wise, you know, you won this year.
Yeah, but you got me overall, that rack you got mounted inside your crib there. But anyway, Teddy, we're going to take a pause for the calls of sponsors to keep the show on the air. I'm coming right back after a word with my illustrious wife, Kristin. Thank you, Teddy.
You bet, man.
All right, gang, I know you guys cannot live without your smartphones, and if you're looking to keep walking this planet just a little longer so you can have more time with said smartphone, then download the DDP Yoga Now app at iTunes or the Google Play Store and get on the path to healthier living. Folks, you got to take care of yourself. And right now, my close personal friend, Diamond Dallas Page, is giving all you guys a great deal. If you go to ddpyoga.com/Austin, you get the best price on DDP Yoga, and you get 3 free months of the DDP Yoga Now app. Now, this app is going to let you do DDP Yoga wherever you are, whenever you like. And you can access all the workouts right from your phone or your tablet. You can do live workouts from the DDP Yoga Performance Center. That's badass. Dallas is giving you everything you need to get on a path to healthier living, and he's making it as easy as possible. So get the DDP Yoga program at ddpyoga.com/Austin and take advantage of the 3 free months of the DDP Yoga Now app. He's letting you take it for a test drive. You're going to fall in love with this. He's making it easy. Like Dallas always says, all you have to do is commit. So make that commitment now at ddpyoga.com/Austin. And get this. Guess what's finally available on DVD and Blu-ray? Yep, the badass documentary, The Resurrection of Jake the Snake. Folks, I've seen this documentary about 3 or 4 times. It's a badass, incredible documentation of a look at the life of one of the greatest professional wrestlers in the history of the business. A guy that kind of changed the game. Economic in the ring, everything he did meant something. One of the greatest psychologists and promo guys of all time. Jake's journey to get his life, his family, and his career back is both powerful and is damn sure inspirational. And you don't have to be a wrestling fan to be moved by his personal story. And Dallas and his crew worked hard on this DVD. They've added 20 bonus features, including a color commentary track narrated by Dallas, Jake, and director Steve Yu. So get yourself a copy of The Resurrection of Jake the Snake today on DVD or Blu-ray. You can do that by going to ddpyoga.com. Use the promo code Austin316 and get 10% off of the DVD. Austin316 is the promo code to get 10% off the Jake the Snake DVD. Badass. All right, gang, time for a little bit of storytelling here. I'm sitting here at the office here at 316 Gimmick Street, swigging on a cup of coffee with Los Angeles written on the side of it. Oh, the joy of living in Los Angeles, California. Swigging coffee. Just took an eye for brain. And, hell, I got a little story for you. A story of a heroic comeback. Picture a goddamn hot-ass WrestleMania main event match. You got a badass heel with a ton of heat on him. You got a white meat baby face who's over like crazy. So all of a sudden we start this illustrious match, and that baby face is shining. He's out wrestling that heel. He's taking him to town. And all of a sudden that dirty, dastardly heel uses a cheap shot and gets a ton of heat on that baby face. Lots of steam. Just beating the dog shit out of him. You want that baby face to make a comeback, but that heel just keeps him down. Then finally, somehow, some way, that baby face reaches down from deep within and mounts a heroic comeback against this piece of shit heel who has had him down so long, so hard, so bad. And maybe it's a slow build comeback. Starts off slow and goes into a manic comeback. Or it's just a comeback from the get-go, fist of fire, Katie bar the door, you low-life son of a bitch. And then they go into the finish, and either the babyface wins or the heel wins. But alas, back to the comeback. I made my little comeback from shoulder surgery yesterday. Well, let me say I mounted a comeback. As you know, if you listen to the podcast, about 5 weeks ago, I had rotator cuff surgery and a bicep reattachment on my right shoulder. And I tell you what, I haven't been doing a goddamn thing since that surgery. I had been cleared to go back to the gym, but delayed going back to the gym because the shoulder wasn't feeling very secure. And for those of you that miss me on the WWE Network, due to the Stone Cold podcast, it's because I canceled all my appearances. That's why I missed the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame in Wichita Falls and things that I wish I could have been there for, but just put off because of where my shoulder's at. But anyway, you've heard about that. So anyway, yesterday was the first day of a little bit of a comeback because I started my physical therapy with my physical therapist down there in downtown L.A., wherever the hell that damn office is at. I drove down there, lickety-split, thought I left with plenty of time to get there on time because, as you know, I cannot stand to be late for nothing, and I wouldn't be late for my first PT session. So anyway, man, I pull in this parking garage, and it's one of those things that just spirals up. Then at a point, you take another turn, it spirals back down. And there wasn't one single goddamn parking spot in that whole entire building. So as I went out, I handed my ticket to the lady. I said, ain't no parking spots in here. Luckily, she didn't charge me for the grand tour of the parking lot inside structure, and she let me out for free. And I'll be goddamn, lo and behold, there is a God. A religious experience was had. As soon as I exited the parking structure, right there on the curb was a fucking parking spot with a parking meter. And in L.A., these kind of parking meters where you can put your credit card in, or you can put money in, whatever the hell. I never thought that the parking meter would come to such a technological forefront that you could swipe a credit card, but that's where we've come to. So anyway, it's about 11:55. My PT appointment is at 12 o'clock. I got to go to the building across the street. There's no way that I could be late. So I pull into the spot right there on the curb, right on the outside, the parking structure, which I just drove in, and probably forgot to put my credit card into the parking meter machine. And as soon as I went into the lobby, got up to the elevator, went on the 6th floor, got into the office, checked in, I just remembered. I said, you know what? I told the lady at the front desk, I parked right there in the parking meter spot, but I forgot to put my credit card in the meter. So she said, well, do you want us to go down and put some money in there for you? You know, I should have said yes, because I know my wife's going to eat my ass out when I get home because I'm going to get a parking ticket. But I wouldn't have them go do something I should have done. So I said, no, I'll be all right. I said, I'll just take a ticket. So anyway, I go in there and start that comeback. Go in there, and I can't do anything at this point with my shoulder. I'm not to move it manually or engage the muscle in any way, shape, or form, or I'll tear out the work that the doctor did. I'll mess up his repair. So basically what I do for PT is range of motion exercises. I'm a physical therapist. I'm laying on my back, and she starts grabbing my arm and just kind of swinging it back and forth like a gate on a hinge. Short movements at first, and then we start getting longer movements and start building that range of motion. And we do that for about 15 minutes, and then she's massaging that tissue in there, and then she kind of straightens my arm out, and my arm ain't been straightened in 5 weeks. It's been sitting in this cast. And then she kind of puts it in an arm bar and slowly starts torquing it up towards my head, and she starts working that shoulder like that, and then massaging the tissue underneath my damn armpit, breaking loose some of that tissue that's gotten up in there. So I basically lay there while she's torquing on my arm, and when she starts torquing up, she can feel when that work starts getting tight. She's really knowledgeable about what she does. So I do that for an hour, talk about the recovery process, and I had designs on going down to the Broken Skull Ranch in a couple of weeks, but now that I'm going through range of motion physical therapy, I thought that might curtail my trip to the ranch. And I told her, I said, you know what, man, when I did my left rotator cuff, I kind of rehabbed this thing myself. They just gave me a pulley to hang over a door, and then I would slide my arm across the table and try to raise up the walls in the shower when I was showering. And she goes, oh, no. He goes, you can do that. She goes, what we're trying to do right now is to make sure you don't get a frozen shoulder, whatever she calls it. There's been no movement in that shoulder in that ball and socket joint for 5 weeks, so we're just stretching that out. But once we get you in here for about 2 to 3 more weeks, then you can take your trip down to your ranch, and I can let you rehab for about 2 weeks by yourself before you come back in, and we continue this process. So the good news is I started to come back. The good news is I can plan a trip to the Broken Skull Ranch. The good news is, well, I'm on the road to recovery. After we got through with the manipulation stuff, I went to a little thing. They put some electrodes on my arm for some stimulation, and then they put me into it was like a shoulder girdle. It's kind of with the ice in there, just like you do for your knee. And so they ran the ice and stuff and electrical stimulation to my shoulder, and then I was up and gone, and I go back tomorrow for round 2, but the shoulder comeback of a lifetime has happened. I'm ready to get my ass back in the gym. And as a matter of fact, before I tell the gym story, so I said thank you, and I booked my appointment for tomorrow and went out to my car.
But you forgot to tell about your bad BO.
Yeah, of course. My wife is sitting here reading a damn magazine.
It's a cookbook.
It's a cookbook. Well, get close to the microphone if you're going to join in on a podcast. God damn it. Welcome to the show, Kristin.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, so why did you pick this element of the story to jump in and talk about my BO?
Because I was thinking of the poor lady that was working on you.
A big guess. I took a shower right before I went to the physical therapy, and I got on this dry fit shirt that I've had for probably 7 or 8 years, Kristin.
At least.
I just love these shirts, so I figure I probably need to get some new ones because, you know, once you have dry fit for such a long time, and as much as I've worked out in this shirt, you can wash them, but they kind of smell like rubber and they kind of smell dirty.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm clean, but I'm wearing this dirty, the shirt has this dirty smell to it. And
you're clean, but you can't very well put the deodorant in your underarm.
Well, first of all, my shirt stinks to a point, and because the way my shoulder is frozen, like in this position that it is, when I get the deodorant stick, I can't cross across my body and rub it underneath my left arm. What I need to do, Kristin, is get up my deodorant, get some duct tape, and get a ruler or a 2-foot stick, kind of like a scrubber on a stick.
A scrubber on a stick.
A scrubber on a stick. Deodorant on a stick, ladies and gentlemen. Deodorant on a stick is I'm going to patent this tomorrow. I'm calling my
patent guy.
I'm calling my trademark lawyer. So what I need to do is get my deodorant stick tie it to about a foot long or 2-foot stick so I can rub it underneath my left armpit. Because what I'll do is grab it with my left arm and bend it up underneath and try to rub it underneath my armpit. It doesn't work too good.
No.
And then, I can reach my right armpit with my left arm, so I'm not really covered in all the areas that I could be with the deodorant / antiperspirant. So although I'm clean, I just took a shower. I'm in there in that shower by myself. I've got a hand towel. I'm trying to wash myself with this body wash, and it's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah.
So I'm as clean as I can be, but it's just when you're impaired, that's just the way it is. So anyway, now that you jumped in on my story, Kristin, and here's the thing. My wife cannot stand when I get a parking ticket. It chaps her ass because she's as cheap or cheaper than I am. And so, anyway, I go out to my car. I know I'm going to have a parking ticket, and sure enough, there it is. Underneath my windshield wiper, a parking ticket. And the amount of, how much was it, Kristin? I didn't even look at it.
It's a lot of money.
She's got it right here.
It's $63.
$63 fucking dollars. I was in that building for an hour and a half, and they want to charge me $63 for parking on the side of the damn curb. I know I forgot to swipe my credit card. It's my fault, but $63 for an hour and a half, that's a little much, Kristin.
Yeah, you want to know what time they gave it to you?
What time?
12:03.
12:03. Oh, those cocksuckers were waiting for me. There was somebody with a pair of binoculars saying, "Oh, this dipshit didn't swipe his credit card," because I was there, like I said, 11:55 and 12:03. They got me.
Yep.
And here's the thing. First of all, I saw my ticket, and then I see that guy coming down the damn gimmick, and they always drive Priuses.
Yeah.
And so the dude cruised by. I know he's probably looking to put another ticket on me, and he would have jacked up the rate if he hadn't seen me coming to my goddamn car. So anyway, I get to the house, and I say, well, Kristin says, well, how'd therapy go? I said, I went good. I said, I got one problem, though. And she goes, what happened? I said, I got a parking ticket.
Very irresponsible.
Oh, boy, thanks.
Because I never get parking. I never get tickets in general. And parking ticket, that's like a choice you make.
It wasn't a choice I made. I was in a hurry and forgot to put the damn credit card.
How do you forget?
Well, like I said, I remembered once I got up there. Kristin, you don't understand how many times I've been hit in the head with a steel chair. How many times? I'm just trying to make excuses. All right, it was my fault. I got a parking ticket.
So now
anyway,
I have to pay it.
I told her I'd pay it, and then she goes, you don't know where the checkbook is. I don't know where nothing is, so my wife's going to pay the parking ticket. But anyway, the good news is I'm making a comeback from my shoulder surgery, and I'm in physical therapy. It's range of motion exercises only. I canceled all my appearances. I ain't going nowhere because I don't want to knock this fucking shoulder out. If I trip or do something, this thing's going to go haywire. So I've got to be very conservative with everything I do. But I'm on the road to making a comeback, and I'm happy about that. And my first day back in the gym, just training my left shoulder, just doing one-arm dumbbell presses, side laterals, very easy. I can't lay down and do a dumbbell bench on one side because I'll compromise the shoulder girdle. So for my chest, I'll just try to get into some just a chest press machine, and with one arm. I don't want to can't go too heavy. I've atrophied a lot. My left arm looks like shit, which is my good arm. My right arm looks like dog shit because of the inactivity, the muscle atrophy. And then I'll do light leg presses and stuff like that, and really need to up my cardio.
Don't be so hard on yourself, Steve.
Well, let's start stealing my lines. I'm hot about it. I'm hot. I look like a pile of shit. So anyway, yesterday I was sitting there. Let me see. I was on day 3 of my diet. Kristin cooked me a bunch of fish, and I had clean baked potatoes and green beans all day long. And if she comes back from Zoom or whatever.
No, I have Tuesday night off, and so I thought, well, why don't we go to the brewery?
Yeah, she wanted to go to Firestone Walker because she had that day off, and she wanted to go drink 2 glasses of wine and eat her food. And as soon as she came home from her massage appointment, I was in the kitchen eating the fish and the potatoes and the green beans. And she goes, what are you doing? And I said, I'm eating. She goes, I thought we were going to go to Firestone Walker. I'm like, you do know that this is my 3rd day of trying to eat healthy, and I'm going to blow it all if I go over there and start drinking beer.
I know, but it just seems like we go there at least once a week.
Well, anyway, so, she goes, that's fine. She goes, I didn't go to the store today, so I don't know what I'm going to eat. So she's guilt tripping me. So I'm sitting there thinking, okay, she had a hectic schedule. We've had a lot of stuff on our plate, especially with my recovery and everything else going on. So I was like, okay, it's time to bite the bullet on this one. If I can't go down to Firestone Walk or just sip on a luponic distortion, which is about, 6%, 5.9% ABV, not too many calories, and sip on maybe 1 or 2 of those, is not going to completely, throw me out of whack. And I wasn't hungry. So being the husband of the year that I am, I figured we'd still go to Firestone Walker so I wouldn't have any heat on me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, you want to tell the duck story?
Which duck story?
The duck story that led to the sea turtle being in the backyard in the swimming pool, because people on my Instagram account, I'm on Instagram, Steve Austin BSR, just like my Twitter account. And lately I've been posting a couple videos of a sea turtle, I call it a sea monster, floating around in my swimming pool. And I got messages from people saying, man, Steve, you either got too much time on your hands, you've been hitting the head with too many chairs, you've been drinking too much, or all of the above. Because nobody 51 years old takes pictures and sends videos of a fucking sea turtle and narrates it like it's a sea monster in their backyard. Well, there was a reason we had the damn sea turtle back there. Kristin, you want to elaborate? Because we had some fucking ducks back there, a drake and a hen, and they were mallards.
They were so cute. They're just sitting there on the ledge of the pool, but unfortunately they were pooping everywhere.
And when she says pooping, I'll translate for you roughnecks out there. The damn ducks were shitting everywhere. Shitting on the ledge of the hot tub, shitting on the edge of the pool. We have a potted plant right there in the corner, and one of them would get on one side, and the other one would get on the other side. And they'd shit everywhere. And then they decide it's time to go for a swim because that's what ducks do. And there's a swimming pool, and these are smart ducks. So they jump in the water and they start swimming around because ducks like water. You've heard that old saying, whether you're playing baseball, ducks on the pond, ducks on the pond. Well, they were little on the pond. Our cement pond, our swimming pool. And while they're in the swimming pool, they were shitting. They were shitting so much that the next Wednesday when our pool guy came by to clean the pool in Los Angeles and most places, almost everybody has a pool guy that will come in and net all the stuff out, change the chemicals in the swimming pool, run the equipment, and then get out and go to the next swimming pool. So our swimming pool guy comes by and he goes, Steve, I need to talk to you. I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, man, those ducks back here, I know they're crapping all over the side of your pool. That's not an issue for me, but they're also crapping inside the pool, and it's getting inside your equipment. He goes, you got to get those ducks out of here, or they're going to ruin your equipment. Well, if there's money involved, and I try to be real nice to the ducks, because normally, hell, Ted Fowler would have probably went out there and shot both the son bitches.
That's what he told me to do.
Well, see, Teddy has this pond in his backyard in Rockport, Texas. It's a big-ass pond, so it's one thing for Teddy to shoot a couple of ducks, but if I was to go out there with my Benelli shotgun and start blasting ducks, the police going to come over here.
Well, and I wouldn't let you do that.
And you wouldn't let me do it, and I'm going to be handcuffed. They're going to be taking me down to the Hoos Gal. So anyway.
But they were so cute.
I know they're so cute, and here's the thing. They were so cute. Okay, I want to sound like a fucking sissy saying this, but I said, man, I don't want to rustle them off either. I like the ducks back there. It's fun to watch the little bastards. And the thing is, we couldn't let the dogs back here because Hershey, she's such a bully. She's laying here right now 2 feet from me, sleeping her ass off. She's supposed to be prowling the perimeter, making sure no one breaks in. So Hershey or Shona, who's damn near blind, I got a Shona story I'm going to tell you here in a minute, and Moolah would charge those damn ducks, and we figured maybe one of these dogs was going to catch one of them and kill them, and then we'd really feel like shit. Or we'd take the damn duck down to our vet and say, hey, can you fix this duck up? And I said, how you want to pay for it? Well, put it on this bill. Get it? Anyway, so the ducks are back in our backyard for about 3 days. And so anyway, the pool guy tells me, you got to get those ducks out of here. And the dogs are going to the bathroom in the front yard. And they were mad because they like to go back there and sun themselves. Yeah. And they got some rocks back there they like to shit on. And those are the same rocks that I get my shit scoop up and clean up the dog shit every day, because if I don't, I get heat from my wife for not picking up dog shit, and she's got to go do it. I'm under the bus, and that doesn't spell good results. So anyway, I go out there, and I gently scare away the ducks. Yeah. And they fly off. And Kristin gets on the internet and says, well, ways to deter ducks from getting in your swimming pool. Kristin, what did your research tell you?
It said get a blow-up crocodile or alligator and put in your pool.
A blow-up crocodile or alligator and put in the swimming pool. Now, what I could have had done was call Ted Fowler, 361 down in Rockport, Texas, say, hey, Teddy, go down there to the pond and catch alligator, duct tape him, and FedEx to me. I got some ducks over here in my swimming pool. And Teddy would have done it. And, well, it wouldn't have worked because I don't think FedEx is going to ship an alligator that's 6 foot long, and that alligator is probably going to eat my dogs. So Kristin decided the next best thing to do would be to go to Walgreens and get a blow-up sea turtle.
No, that's the most scary-looking object that I could find at Walgreens.
If y'all seen my Instagram account, Steve Austin BSR, those videos, they're scary as fuck. Boy, it's a scary-looking creature. They didn't have nothing more intimidating than that sea turtle.
No.
It was piss poor. And, of course, we have reservations about 15 minutes. But right when she comes back from Walgreens, she says, well, you need to blow the sea turtle up before we can leave. Well, this is before I quit drinking. And we're fixing to go have some drinks. So I'm over there huffing and puffing because y'all know me. I can't be late. We got reservations at 6 p.m. And I'm blowing that fucking sea turtle up. And finally, I blow that motherfucker up. I push that valve in. And you ever blow something up, you damn near get high because you expended all your oxygen?
Yeah.
And you got too much carbon dioxide in your system? Well, that's where I was. Hell, I didn't need to go drink beer. I could stay at the house. I just blew up a turtle. So anyway, I put the sea turtle in the goddamn swimming pool, and problem solved. Everything's fine. So we go out, we meet our friends, have a drink, eat dinner, come back, do our whole process. Wake up the next morning, I'm making coffee, and I'll be damned. Lo and behold, here comes two ducks floating on the water. And they get out of the damn water, they go by the potted plant, and they nestle in there. And that sea turtle in there circling that goddamn pool like a shark. They ain't scared of that sea turtle.
Well, yesterday they came back and they were a little bit intimidated by it, so maybe they just decided...
The sea turtle didn't work. It was a failed experiment. So Kristin gets back on the damn internet, and she decides we just need more objects back there. Well, you can put more objects back there, but we ain't got a big swimming pool. We got a little ass yard. The swimming pool is not like an Olympic-sized pool. So she gets a couple of beach balls. We got 2 beach balls and a fucking sea turtle floating in our backyard. The ducks are over. I think they're going to get out and start batting the beach balls back and forth. It really looks like we got a fucking daycare center, and we ain't got no kids here.
Well, daycare for ducks.
Daycare for ducks. Call my trademark lawyer. Genius. Hashtag genius. Daycare for ducks.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
So anyway, what the deal is now, I've scared the ducks off a couple of times. I just gently go out there and shoo them away. I hate to go out there and do that
But
to
we
them.
let them relax there for a little while.
Yeah, we let them chill for a little bit. It's like a day spa.
Yeah.
So it's not like a daycare center. It's like a day spa for ducks. So if anybody has any ducks, send them to 316 Gimmick Street. They can hang out for a little bit, but we'd appreciate it if you'd make them shit out in the yard before you put them in our swimming pool.
Well, we could potty train them.
Potty training a duck. Here's the thing. Now, we can't do this for free, Kristin, because we got bills to pay. Those gimmicks they send in the mail, my wife goes crazy about the damn mail. She goes, did the mail come? Did the mail come? Or she'll go out to the mailbox about 5, 6, 7 times a day. What in the fucking deal is with you and the mail?
I've turned into my mom.
Why is your mom so obsessed with the mail?
She's the same way, and now look at me.
I know. So what's the deal with the mail? I mean, I always figured, here's the deal. When I met my wife back in the day, before she was my wife, give or take 11 or 12 years ago, I was carrying my bills around in a hefty trash bag. Mm-hmm. Is that a shoot or not, Kristin?
It's true, if that's what a shoot means.
You know what shoot means. My wife tries not to use any wrestling lingo because she's a proper educated person.
Well, shoot and the other word that you use, I never know which one it means. So,
okay, that's true.
Okay.
Right, I had my bills in the trash bag.
Yes, you did.
Now, I would pay them, and sometimes they might have been a month or two late, but I'd sort through my trash bag.
I doubt you'd paid them.
But anyway, so Kristin took over the bill paying system.
Yeah.
But so she's a fanatic about the mail. But here's the thing. Since we have these bills in the mail, Kristin, there is no way, like I don't know if we put some feeding stations back there for the duck. We don't need a water station because they're in water. But we can't just have a day spa for ducks and not charge admittance. Because we got overhead. Because too much overhead is going to cost us to go belly up, and we can't do that. So how are we going to charge per day for a duck?
Well, we won't charge them. We should charge people to come in and view the ducks.
Oh, man. Here's the thing.
Like
you come to 316 Gimmick Street, go view the ducks, walk around the outside of the pool, go by, take a look at the gravel where the dogs like to shit. I'll give you a whole guided tour. We'll take a damn selfie. I'll sign an autograph. Out you go.
Yeah.
It'll be like a little bitty-ass Wally World featuring Steve Austin and the motherfucking ducks. Can you dig it?
Yeah. I think it's a great idea.
Man, I tell you what. So anyway, that's the story of the ducks. And so for the people out there that thought either Steve Austin was going fucking crazy, he's drinking too much, or whatever you thought, that's why I got the picture of the sea turtle on my Instagram account, and that's the only reason. Hey, I told you guys, I had a story about Shona, our black lab. Kristin, how old is Shona? 13 and a half?
She's 13, yeah. 13 and a half, yeah.
So, man, she's getting on up there. And y'all know at Christmas, if you listen to the podcast, last year, she had that old dog vestibular syndrome, and we didn't know what was wrong with her. She was in harm's way. And we took her to the vet, and we're way out there in the middle of nowhere in South Texas. And then we moved our flight up a day so we could get her back to our vet here in Los Angeles, who's absolutely wonderful. And she made pretty much a 99% comeback.
Yeah, she did.
But then she started just kind of, what were her symptoms now?
She's kind of coughing a little bit and drinking a lot of water. So I took her into the vet, and he suspected Cushing's disease. So he said, bring her back. She needs to be here 8 hours. And they run some sort of test to check her cortisol level, I guess. Yeah,
because Cushing's is basically the overstimulation of the adrenal glands, and she's pumping too much cortisol in her system.
Yeah.
So anyway, it turns out after the tests came in, she was like full-blown Cushing's, and she'd had it for I mean, we've noticed
don't know.
this, but I mean, we don't know.
Yeah.
And when our dogs are in the vet damn near every week, it seems. We take extremely good care of our dogs. But it was just one of those things that if you don't, you just wonder why they're drinking so much water. You don't really know what's going on because they're not really selling anything.
Weird cough kind of thing.
She had a weird cough, but I mean, she didn't act like a sick dog.
No.
So anyway, I go drop the dog off, and turns out that the dog's going to be ready. Shona will be ready about 6:30 p.m. Well, my wife has a meeting at 6, so she says, can you go pick up Shona? Well, of course, me being husband of the year and don't want to heat on me, I'm going to go pick up Shona at the vet with my one arm. And this is 2 weeks ago, so the shoulder was real tender about this time. So I go down there, and this is a story about pocket knives, because I tell everybody in the world that they ought to have a pocket knife on them. Everybody needs a knife, and that's why the broken skull knife comes in pink. For women, too. And you ain't got to buy a pink one. You can buy any color you like. But here's the story. I go down, fight through L.A. rush hour traffic. The vet is about 4 or 5 miles away, which is an eternity in L.A. traffic. So I get down there. There's Shona. She's ready to go. I pay the bill, and I asked the technician. I said, man, can you help me load this dog in the back of the vehicle? He said, sure, I'll help you out. So I'm driving Kristin's SUV. I pop the hatch. We put her in the back, and my wife's specific instructions were for me to tether Shona to the back rivet, which already has a Kawasaki leash right there, and I will harness her. And she says if you tether her here, she won't be able to reach the front seat, and she's secure.
Because she's got car anxiety.
She's got car anxiety.
Yeah.
As soon as you put Shona in the car, she starts breathing real heavy, and her heart starts beating faster. She starts shaking like a leaf.
And then she tries to get under your feet while you're driving, which is very dangerous.
Oh, man. I got a story in El Paso. We was driving our RV, and I'm racing with some guy in a BMW, a little blue car. I think it was a drug dealer. And anyway, so that Shona tries to dive my damn gas and brake pedals. Kristin's almost crying. She's about
trying
to break
wrestle
her back.
her.
So anyway, back to the story at hand.
Yeah.
Tethered to the back. She's nervous, and this way she can't reach the front seat. Well, the technician loads her up. I tether her in there, snapping on her collar, her harness that she's wearing. The technician goes back inside, and he locks the doors because he had to unlock them for me to get inside because they were closed to begin with. They were waiting on us to come pick up Shona. So all of a sudden, I put Shona in. I walk around the side of the car to get in, and she's already wedged halfway between the back seat and the front seat over the center console. The exact area you said that she wasn't going to be able to reach if I tethered her to the back.
Funny she doesn't do that when I'm driving because she probably was nervous because you were driving.
She was nervous because I was. So anyway, she's in harm's way. She can't go forward because she's got all the slack out of her leash. She can't go backward because she's too weak and she's wedged up in the front seat in the console, and I got all the seats folded flat in the back, so that's how she's traversing back and forth. So I'm fucked. I'm not going to go inside and call the technician and say, hey, dude, I got this bad wing. Can you move my dog to the back for me? You know, so I've got the passenger door open. There she is. I can't push her back with my left arm. I can't use my right arm because I'll blow my damn work in my shoulder. So I'm thinking, real quickly, it dawns on me. There's one fucking solution here. That leash is stretched tight. Oh, pocket knife. I got a bad right arm, and I normally carry my broken skull pocket knife in my right pocket, but I'm using my left arm these days, so I got it in my left pocket. I pull out that broken skull cold steel knife, that sharp motherfucker. That leash is stretched tight, and I just go whack. Problem solved. Why? Because the motherfucking kid, Steve Austin, carried a pocket knife. You ain't got to buy a cold steel broken skull knife. I'm just telling you, whether it's a $5, $10, $100, it doesn't matter what kind of knife you got. Hopefully you never need a knife to defend yourself, but if you do, you got one. Whether it's to open a ladder, cut open a box, cut a piece of rope, or rescue your beloved Labrador Retriever from choking and being stuck in a damn center console, that's what you need a knife for. So I rescued Shona from the vet. Mm-hmm. I put her in the car and then cut her free, and then we backed out and rode off into the sunset. And that's the happy ending of that story. Why? Because I had a motherfucking pocket knife. Hallelujah.
But you ruined a very good leash.
Well, I was upset about having to cut the leash in half, but Kristin, in times of, need. You got to do what you got to do.
I got you.
Look at it this way. Say you and I were traveling, and for some reason, some idiot driving a Prius, perhaps in Los Angeles, texting and smoking one of those vaporizer gimmicks, and has a certain bumper sticker on the car and runs us off the road, and I can't get you out because you're wearing your seatbelt, but the gimmick to the seatbelt I can't reach. But since I got a fucking pocket knife, broken skull model, I'm able to cut the damn straps and get you out and rescue you and take you to safety.
But didn't my mom buy you a seatbelt cutter?
Man, that son of a bitch is so damn bogus. It's unbelievable. Motherfucker.
She got you a tire checker and a...
Well, along with that damn, the potato, what's that potato pouch thing she got us?
Yeah, the potato cooker.
The potato cooker. You stuff about 4 or 5 baked potatoes in this thing that's just like an oven glove, basically.
Yeah.
It keeps all the heat in. How many times have we used that piece of shit?
One time.
And then she bought you the cookbook.
Yes.
And so anyway, we're not going to go into all the silly things. Kristin, real quickly before we ride off into sunset, you know this because you live with me. A couple of weeks in a row now, I've gone down to my buddy Curtis's house. He makes neon clocks. And this was on the podcast called Steve's Bucket List, whatever it was called. And me and Curtis made that bumblebee clock. And so I went back the next Friday, and we were working on some more clocks. And it turns out we're at a little bit of a crisis here because Curtis makes these clocks for a living. So he's like a one-man assembly line. And he turns out these beautiful industrial-grade, badass, commercial-grade clocks. And they're works of art, and they will last a lifetime. But as he's assembling all these things, and I'm in a sling, and he can't teach me how to bend glass because teaching someone how to bend glass is not going to be a day process. So I had to face reality, and I told Curtis because he had run out of motors and he had run out of hands, so we couldn't finish assembling the one clock we were working on. And I said, Curtis, basically, I need to take a neon course, right? And he goes, Steve, yeah, if you really want to do this, you do. And he goes, you can keep working with me, but if you take the course, you'll be so much further along than you are now. It will really benefit you. So I got on my iPhone while I was eating lunch, and I was Googling in neon schools in Los Angeles, and I couldn't really find anything. So I came back in after 30 minutes over at Curtis's house. I said, Curtis, I can't find a good place to go to school to learn how to work with neon. He said, no, Steve, you need to go to the guy that I learned from. He's the best. And I said, okay, well, who is he? So he gave me his name, and it turns out it's a 6-week course. 6 weeks, people, bending neon, learning everything about neon, argon, glass, all that shit, and the electrical part of it. But it's 6 weeks. And so it's 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. So I got to find time in my schedule. I'm waiting for the guy to call me right now. And when he gives me a call, I'll work it in my schedule, and that's when I will take the 6-week neon course. And I wanted to keep you guys apprised of that because I'm sitting there trying to make these clocks, and I didn't want the story to go untold, or do you think I lost my commitment? So I'm waiting for the guy to call me for neon clocks. And then I had a couple of other things on my bucket list, on my short bucket list that I was going to do, but my wings got me held up on. And one of those is going to high-performance driving school, just some driving stuff. I'm not trying to be a race car driver, but just to go through the course. And then I also wanted to go to a long-range shooting class, like a sniper, be able to call the wind and make windage and elevation adjustments on the scope with the information that you've gathered because, man, I consider myself a pretty good shot. But normally, like me and Teddy down at the Broken Skull Ranch, we're shooting old school. We're dialed in, dead on at 100 yards. We range everything we shoot, and then basically just do a holdover based on our experience with whatever caliber we're shooting and the distance. So I'm not able to adjust the elevation or the crosshairs on my scope, and I've been highly successful with that. But that's shooting at coyotes and pigs and stuff like that. Now with the deer, I'm very conservative because we're in more of a management program. So I want to learn how those long-range shooters do. And I'm talking about shooting still targets. I'm not talking about taking down animals. I'm talking about purely for the science of learning how to call wind and work elevation changes with the turrets on the scope. So those are the couple of things that I want to get going, and I'll get those things going once I get back from this shoulder, and I'm on the comeback trail right now. Just started to come back. Kristin, before we ride off into the sunset, is there anything you want to add, plug, get in there? You got you want to talk about your Twitter account or anything?
Right.
What's so funny?
Because I don't do social media.
You ought to do social media.
No, thank you.
Wife of a global icon and national treasure.
Nope.
Okay, we got the duck story in, the vet story. Shona got diagnosed with Cushing syndrome. She started her medication today. There's good news to the story because Kristin, doctor said what?
That she's going to live a normal life. She just has to be on medication.
And we'll notice that she stops drinking water as much as she has. She'll stop panting. And
yeah.
She's really been doing good. She's made a comeback from the old dog syndrome. So hopefully we get another couple years out of her because she's in good shape.
Yeah, she is in good shape.
And so the ducks will continue to come. We're not going to open a duck spa. We were discussing this a while ago. I pushed the pause button, and it was a hard decision to make, people. But Steve and Kristin Daycare Duck Spa, just not going to happen.
No.
We can't make a business proposal for that. So anybody that's thinking about coming by and touring the facility, it'd be like a 30-second process. I can bring you into the office and show you the Pearl Bear neon clock with the second hand spin around like a rotisserie chicken.
Can I ride off into the sunset?
Yeah, you can ride off the sunset. So my Hershey is about to wake up. She's over there stretching. All right, Kristin, thanks for joining the Steve Austin Show. It's the award-winning podcast, which has never won any awards. People, I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. I'm coming right back to close this endeavor right after this. Are you looking to buy a used car? Then you should check out TrueCar.com and the TrueCar app. I bet you didn't know that you can use TrueCar to help you buy a used car, too. It ain't just for new car purchases. There are over 500,000 pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers nationwide, and there are over 11,000 TrueCar certified dealers. And TrueCar lets you get upfront pricing information on new and used vehicles and lets you see what other people paid for the car you want so that you feel confident you're getting a fair price. With TrueCar, via their TrueCar pricing curve, you see what other people paid for the car and you lock in your guaranteed savings. Then you can connect with a local certified dealer of your choosing, take them your TrueCar guaranteed savings certificate, and make your car buying experience quick and easy. Over 2 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar Certified Dealer Network, and TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off into the sunset. But before I do, I'm going to give you something to watch. I've already done that in the open of the podcast. I would love for you to watch the Ricochet versus Will Ospreay match from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'd like to know your thoughts on this match. I thought these guys was a badass effort. Two of the best athletes probably in the world that are in a squared circle right now. If you like it, you didn't like it, send me your feedback at questions@steveaustonshow.com. You know my thoughts on it. I'm not going to comment any more on it. Let me know what you thought. Also, check out Dynamite Kid versus Tiger Mask. I believe it was 7/23/1982. Dynamite Kid was so far ahead of his time, it's unbelievable. Tiger Mask is phenomenal. I love the aggressive nature of Dynamite Kid in this match, and that was kind of the difference of the two matches. And again, going back to Ricochet and Will Ospreay, I've never seen an athletic endeavor like that ever inside a squared circle. So anyway, give me your feedback. Hey, gang, all my damn shirts are available at BrokenSkullRanch.com. Broken Skull IPA, if you want to ship to your house, BrokenSkullRanch.com. The Steve Austin Broken Skull knife is available at BrokenSkullRanch.com. Everything Steve Austin you can find right there. I want to say thank you very much for supporting the sponsors of the Steve Austin podcast, because they're the ones who let me do this for you free twice a week. So big thanks to ddpyoga.com/Austin and the DDP Yoga Now app. To the good folks at Onnit, go to onnit.com/Steve to get 10% off your order. To the folks at TrueCar, And, of course, to Amazon, who've been supporting this podcast since day one. Use my Amazon links whenever you're doing any online shopping, and Amazon will kick back a couple of bucks to the podcast and not cost you anything extra. There's no hidden fees or charges, and you can buy whatever you plan on buying and help out the podcast in the process. You can find all my Amazon links by going to podcast1.com. Click on the Killer Deals button in the top right corner of the page, and then hit the Steve Austin Show button. Amazon links for USA, UK, and Canada. If you bookmark that, you can find it easier in one click and support the show, and it does not cost you anything. I've been getting a lot of feedback on my Twitter account about the fact that the old episodes are subscriber-based only. This show is still for the working man. The first, I believe, 8 episodes of each show, or the last 8 episodes of each show, are still available for free. It doesn't cost you anything. What the deal is with that paywall is, whatever it's $7.99, $8.99, whatever it is bandwidth and storage. So when you got all that content, it costs them money to store that. So if you pay the $7.99, you can go back to the Podcast One library and listen to any show you want from anyone they have on Podcast One. And if you don't want to do that, that's cool. My show is still free. It's just the last 2 months of content of each person who has a show on Podcast One is how that works. So the show is still free. I know a lot of people are ticked off, but technically the show is still free. If you're new to the show, you can't access the old podcasts unless you pay the money to go get them. But that's why I've got some badass guests lined up. I'm hitting the road this weekend to go talk to them. So if you just listen to the current ones and we move forward together, it's always going to be free. Anyway, folks, keep listening. The 60-second AP News headlines are coming up next. Until then, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
Download new episodes of Steve Austin Unleashed every Thursday at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.
Stay tuned for the latest AP News headlines from Podcast One right after this.
When shopping for car insurance, consider this. Geico has been saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years. So if you're serious about savings, it's simple. Go to geico.com. After 75 years, they know how to save you money.
AP Update, I'm Ross Simpson.
I see your true colors shine.
The Orlando Gay Chorus sang at a